What's good, everyone? After hundreds of hours of research and config development, I was able to bring back a ultra sharp neostrafe config for a controller in the brand new season 22 of Apex Legends, and I'll quickly go over the technicalities of how the config works, followed up by a full in-depth movement guide for neostrafing on controller. To make this possible, while you're in neostrafing mode, your controller is emulating mouse and keyboard, and you can shoot without aim assist, but as soon as you aim in, you will instantly have aim assist. This right here is an example of shooting while in neo mode without aim assist. So although I'm hitting my shots here, while in neo mode, you do not have aim assist like you can see here. The aim assist only toggles itself when you aim in, like you're about to see here. This next example will show you that you can neostrafe and toggle your aim assist instantly right while you aim in. Here, I'll show it to you again in slow motion. So I'm neostrafing using all the lurches, and as soon as I aim in here, you can see my controller button hint switch to controller and I get full aim assist. I will soon be coming out with an in-depth guide on how to use the neostrafe config in terms of switching from controller mode to neostrafing mode, all the mechanics that goes into it. So make sure to subscribe to see that video. And now the controller guide you're about to see was recorded before the neostrafing patch, so you'll be seeing controller button hints. However, the neostrafe that I made in season 22 works the exact same way, so just follow along and you'll be good. The neostrafe config I showed you during the intro will be available at my Discord, and by the way, I also have an MNK neostrafe config. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. What's up, everyone? So today I'm doing a movement guide for a controller on PC with configs. So I'm going to be showing you how to use lurches and how to neostrafe. I'm going to be covering like the different uses of neostrafe lurches because it can be used to do much more than spin in a circle with Octane. Now, don't get me wrong, neostrafing with Octane is fun and can be used to like get some kills, but there's lots of way more subtle ways you can use the lurches for, and you can just integrate them into your gameplay with any legend on any situation. So in order to perform the movement that you see in this video, you're going to need controller configs. So I am using 3 different configs right now. The first one is a neostrafe config, which is really sharp. It's one that I've made myself. And so your movement might look different depending on how strong your neostrafe config is. There's many of them. Not all of them are the same at all, and yeah, a sharp neostrafe configs allow the movements to be really fluid and really reactive when you move your stick. There's no muddiness or anything like that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're not able to move exactly the same way as me, it might just be because of the neo you're using. Then the second config is the Superglide CFG config. So what this config does is that it basically makes supergliding really easy, which just allows you to have consistent superglides. So the last config I'm going to use is a turbo jump bind. So what a turbo jump bind is a bind on your roller that makes you jump automatically when you hold it down. So right here I am just holding down my L1, which is my jump button, and I am just jumping forever. I have 2 of those. The one on L1 also makes me neostrafe, so it basically toggles my neostrafe. And then I have another one, which is in the back of my paddle that you're not going to see here on the controller cam, that makes me also jump the exact same way. However, it doesn't make me neostrafe. I do that in order to not tap strafe out of the walls when wall bouncing and for other movement techs, where sometimes you want to just kind of air strafe while holding down your jump button. So right here, if I try to jump on the wall with my neostrafe jump bind, I'll most likely tap strafe out of it, just like that. You're basically gonna see something like this where you're gonna tap strafe out. Now I'm gonna show you with the non-tap strafe jump bind. So right here, I just I was able to get to the wall bounce because it allowed me to air strafe. So right here I'm air strafing, but if I use the neostrafe bind, then I'll be tap strafing way out of the wall. It is still possible to do the wall bounces without the non-tap strafe turbo jump bind. It just requires a different timing, just like that. Now I'll slow down and explain it to you. So what you want to do is jump with your tap strafe bind, then don't hold it down, let go of it, and air strafe a little bit to the left, and as soon as you hit the wall, you hit your jump tap strafe bind. This is how you do it, and it's very useful for people that don't have enough buttons for a second jump bind. So before I get into the actual tutorials, I'm going to show you the vital settings that you need for better movement. So you're going to go into a controller and you're going to put your crouch button on hold. This is going to make it so that whenever you let go of your crouch button, you instantly go back up. So I use my crouch button on the back of my paddle, which is why you're not seeing it in a controller cam, by the way. The other setting you're going to want to use is auto sprint. So auto sprint just makes you sprint automatically, which can be really useful when super gliding, because you only have to move your stick forwards as opposed to clicking it and moving it forwards. There's just one less thing that you need to do. And also, if you didn't already know this, on controller you can actually walk when auto sprint is on by just slightly pushing your stick. There are actually different speeds you can walk at, and if you push your stick all the way, then you start running. So you don't even auto sprint. It just makes a lot of sense for controller players because we have this option to like walk slowly by just slightly pushing the stick. Alright, so now I'll be showing you the ideal layout that you need to use to perform all this movement well. So if you play claw, then the idea is that you want to be able to jump, crouch, and aim at the same time. So if you play claw, you can play on the default layout. However, if you don't, then I highly recommend playing on evolved layout because it will allow you to both jump while holding down your crouch button and aiming. It just makes movement very, very, very easy, and you don't have to play claw. Alright, so now I'm going to show you neostrafing. So for neostrafing, you don't actually need to be on Octane. Octane just makes the neostrafe have more speed. So what you need to do is basically have momentum, have any kind of momentum, whether it's from slide jumping, whether it's out of a Superglide, and you're gonna hold down your crouch button while using the neostrafe bind. So first, you can just start by doing really simple, slow movements. So you can just do something like this, where I'm just slowly going into a circle. You can also try it with the stim. It's going to be a bit faster. And basically what neostrafing is a combination of the different variations of speeds of the neostrafe. So you can start by doing long strafes and then incorporate small strafes after the long strafes, or first strafes first. The idea is to really just have like a randomized sort of pattern that makes you completely unpredictable. So right here I'm starting with some long strafes, then I'm doing tight ones and long ones. You can also even sort of do some backwards zigzag when you're strafing, something like this, and incorporate all kinds of different strafes. Again, really the best way to just do it like me is to just look at the controller cam and see what kind of timing I'm doing. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you are wall bounce redirect. So basically all it means is right after you do a wall bounce, you're going to tap strafe out of the wall bounce right after you jump from the wall. And right after you jump from the wall, you're just going to hold down your neo toggle bind to go forwards. So just start by doing it forwards, just like that. Just practice it like that. You can slow down the video to get a better idea of the timing, but basically right after you hit the wall, you move your stick forwards and neo. This is a quick example of how I use the wall bounce redirect to climb an object faster. So I see the enemy and I just wall bounce and redirect just like that. This is just a great example of how you can use it in game. Now, the step 2, the version 2 of this method, which is more complex and just kind of adds more style to your gameplay, as well as helps you dodge bullets if you're like getting chased or for whatever reason. You can incorporate the sort of neo lurches where you kind of go into a circle right out of the wall bounce. So as opposed to just going forwards like that, you're gonna do this movement out of the wall bounce, or some kind of circular movement like that, and it's gonna look something like this. And you can use it to climb like that. So this can be used, yeah, to just add more style, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Alright, so last tip about wall bouncing redirect is to do a slight wall run, which is gonna look something like this, and then a redirect with the tap strafe. So to do the wall run, you're gonna start by just doing it like a wall bounce, and then just moving your stick left or right to whatever direction you're going into, like that. And then while you're in the sort of climb motion, you're gonna press your jump button, the jump button of your tap strafe bind, and it's going to, and then you're gonna do the thing where I go like this. You're gonna go into circular motion, and then you're gonna be able to do it like that. Alright, so now for the neostrafe out of the Superglide. So there's a window of time in the Superglide where you can actually change directions. So right now I'm just sideways Supergliding, okay? And there's a moment in the Superglide where I can actually redirect into an opposite direction. So you kind of need to get the feel for it. If you wait too long, like that, you're not going to be able to redirect. So you kind of just need to get the right timing. There I waited a little bit too long and it just redirected me a little bit, but there's just that really good window of time where you can just do crazy things like that. So this is also why I said earlier that the neostrafe can be used for way more than octane stims. It's things like that where just the Superglide just becomes so much more useful. And yeah, you can just try and play with different directions. You can even go forwards and backwards like that. You can just kind of play with it. You just need to remember, get the feel for that window of time where you can actually redirect into the air, because if you wait too long, you're not going to be able to do it. Oh, another way to use neostrafing is when you need to reload or you need to phase. Basically, when you're in danger, you're just going to want to spam your neostrafe until you pop your Q or until you reload your guns. I'm going to show you an example. Imagine you're in game, you get naded, you panic, and you just kind of spam your neostrafe like that. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but it's honestly something I use all the time. So right here I'm about to reload after I whiff, and I'm just kind of lurching around, which just allows me to dodge some of these bullets. Pro tip, use Maggie and use the neostrafe with Maggie. It's really good because of her passive. She runs at holster speed with the shotguns out, so yeah, you can really do some crazy things with Maggie. Alright, so path tricks. Use the Neo to do a slingshot grapple. So you just run forwards and then Neo backwards and you will be able to do the slingshot. This is useful, like if you want to slingshot grapple, it just allows you to do it basically every time without having to sort of wait to go backwards. You just do it instantly. So you can also use the neostrafe out of path grapples. Just like that, you can sort of lurch when you land. You can kind of just get a feel for it yourself. It's really easy, you just rotate your stick. So you can use neostrafes and lurches to peek. So you could do it out of a wall bounce like that and just do these really quick peeks. So the opponent basically just never really sees you, or sees you only for a split second. You can also do it without wall bouncing, something like that. You're just gonna run and then Neo backwards basically.